The morning the nanny was fired, the mansion looked the same as it always did, white stone walls glowing in the sun, roses trimmed to perfection, fountains humming softly, but inside, something sacred was being torn apart. Sophia Miller stood near the grand staircase, her hands folded tightly in front of her, trying to keep them from shaking. She had worked in this house for 4 years, long enough to memorize every creak of the floors, every shadow cast by the chandeliers at sunset, and every sound of the little girl's laughter echoing through the halls. She wasn't just a nanny. She was the one who woke Amelia when nightmares came, the one who bandaged scraped knees, the one who sat beside her when the world felt too big. Yet now, none of that seemed to matter. Across from her stood Daniel Whitmore, the billionaire owner of the house, a man known in boardrooms as ruthless and unstoppable. His expression was cold, unreadable, shaped by rumors he hadn't bothered to verify. "You're dismissed," he said flatly. "Effective immediately." The words landed like a slap. Sophia opened her mouth to speak, but nothing came out. She knew what he believed, that she had crossed boundaries, that she was becoming too attached, that staff had whispered she was manipulating his daughter's emotions. None of it was true. She had only loved a child who desperately needed love. Daniel turned away, already done with the conversation, as if 4 years of devotion could be erased in seconds. Sophia nodded slowly, dignity the only thing she could still hold on to, and went to pack her things. She didn't cry. Not yet. She folded her clothes carefully into an old brown suitcase she'd brought from home, the same one she'd arrived with years ago. As she passed Amelia's bedroom, she paused. Inside, the little girl's drawing still covered the walls, stick figures labeled "Me and Sophie," pictures of hearts, suns, and smiling houses. Sophia pressed her hand against the doorframe, silently saying goodbye. She left the mansion quietly, stepping onto the gravel driveway with her suitcase beside her, her heart finally breaking open. She knelt down, burying her face in her hands, because the pain was too heavy to carry standing up. That was when the sound came, small footsteps, fast and frantic. "Sophie." Amelia's voice cut through the air like lightning. Sophia looked up just as the 6-year-old burst through the front doors, her pink dress fluttering as she ran with her arms wide open. "Sophie, don't go," she cried. Sophia stood instinctively, dropping the suitcase, but before she could speak, Amelia threw herself into her arms, clinging to her like she was afraid Sophia might disappear if she let go. Behind them, Daniel froze on the steps. He hadn't known Amelia had seen. He hadn't expected this. "Daddy." Amelia sobbed, turning toward him without releasing her grip. "Please don't make her leave. She's my family." The word hit him harder than any business loss ever had. Family. He had built empires, crushed competitors, controlled markets, but he had never learned how to protect something so fragile. Sophia knelt again so she was eye level with Amelia, gently brushing tears from her cheeks. "It's okay, sweetheart," she whispered, even though it wasn't. "I'll always love you." Amelia shook her head violently. "No. You promised you wouldn't leave me." Daniel's chest tightened. He remembered the nights Amelia cried herself to sleep after her mother died, the way Sophia had stayed beside her bed for hours, singing softly when nothing else worked. He remembered coming home late and finding them asleep on the couch together, Amelia's head resting on Sophia's shoulder, peaceful in a way he had never been able to give her. Suddenly, the whispers, the accusations, the cold decision he'd made that morning, all of it felt hollow. "Amelia," he said carefully, stepping closer, "Sophie works for us. Sometimes people have to go." Amelia turned on him, eyes blazing with a pain far too old for her age. "Mom went. Now you're taking Sophie too. You said you wouldn't take people away from me anymore." The driveway fell silent except for the fountain behind them. Daniel felt something crack inside him, a place he had kept sealed for years. He looked at Sophia, really looked at her, and for the first time saw not an employee, but a woman who had given his daughter the one thing money never could: safety. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked quietly. Sophia swallowed. "Because loving her was never my job requirement," she said softly. "It was just my heart." Amelia hugged her tighter. "Daddy, if she goes, I go too." Daniel's breath caught. He realized then that this wasn't about authority or control, it was about trust. He knelt down in the gravel, a billionaire on his knees, and placed his hand over Amelia's. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice breaking. "I was wrong." He turned to Sophia. "Please, don't leave." Sophia's eyes filled with tears she had fought to hold back all morning. "I never wanted to," she whispered. Amelia laughed through her tears, wrapping her arms around both of them, creating a fragile circle in the driveway where something broken finally began to heal. Daniel stood and took Sophia's suitcase himself, carrying it back toward the house. That night, Amelia fell asleep between them on the couch, clutching Sophia's hand, while Daniel sat watching, understanding for the first time that family isn't defined by blood or contracts, but by who stays when staying is hard. And if this story touched your heart, if you believe love matters more than wealth and kindness can change even the hardest hearts, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because more stories like this are waiting to remind us what truly makes a family.